the button. That's how
I hit the button in time for everyone to see you tell me hit the button. Always off to a great start. We're very professional. This is what we do.
That's correct.
Hello and good evening, everyone.
Hello. We have people already like hanging out. Yay. Hello.
Yeah, it's cool.
Hello. That's fabulous.
Hello, people.
Genium and Harmony. Hi, friends.
I'm so happy to see people, considering, like, my class, everyone was like, so we're gonna go out for, grab drinks or something after this class, like, the teacher and everything, and I was like, well, I've got plans, and they're like, oh, what are your plans? And I've already established myself as the crazy Star Trek nerd, and I'm like, I gotta talk about Star Trek on camera.
Yeah. I did that in my, like, welcome bio to the new company for my new job, because they ask for, like, tell us a little bit about yourself and, like, give us a photo, and then they send it out company-wide. And so, did I plug Lambda Quadrant? Yes, I did. And as soon as that email went out, I had somebody Slack me. It was like, I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I'm so excited.
So good.
And they have a trans daughter. So they actually told me, they were like, thank you so much for what you do, like talking about queer representation in television and just in general. And I was like, I'm gonna cry. It's like my first day at work. It was good. It was definitely good. But yes, I do the same thing. You must establish right away that you're the Star Trek nerd.
Yeah.
It's very important.
It is.
Also, a friend of mine, so I'm the class that I'm currently in is a silicone mask making class, and I'm making a Star Trek alien. People will probably see it at Vegas, because my plan is to have it at Vegas.
Are you okay telling people what it is now, or were you? Like,
well, part of me was wondering if we could have people guess.
Ooh, I love that.
My guess is, my hint is that the person who most famously played this alien is famous. That's also a good hint. Is famous outside of Star Trek.
Yeah, that could be anybody.
Could be a lot of people.
Do you know how many people got their start on Star Trek?
Have you watched Star Trek, Anna?
No.
You seen...
I mean, that could be anybody. I think you
is not famous for acting. How about that?
Okay, that's a little better.
That's better. I know that there's options, but the point is that it could be several things. It's supposed to be hard.
Well, I figured you would start with like the series, like which Star Trek series it's from.
Yeah. God, Nikki.
What? I mean, let's give people a fighting chance, because you said an alien. That could be anything.
Okay.
Hey, Anna, how do you want to do this reveal? Also, here are all the ways you're doing it wrong. No. I'm roasting myself as much as I'm roasting Anna.
No, it's so
Nikki.
funny.
Very clear.
So funny. Yeah. But yeah, so it's someone who's not famous for acting, was the actor most famously played this alien in an episode of Next Generation.
Also, this is a hint.
It's a really solid hint.
It's like a very solid.
I was speaking of being the Star Trek nerd, I was having this conversation with actually I don't remember who I was talking to, and I was just like reflecting on how impossible it is for me to have like normie conversation with anyone, because I know a little bit of pop culture stuff, but even like MCU, and this is legitimately not to like talk badly about any of that stuff. Like, it's just not my thing. I don't know much about it. I saw a few of the very early movies, and I've seen almost nothing recently. And so like, I just don't have those references. And so I find myself trying to talk to some random person that I meet. And I'm like, okay, if you're not a roller derby fan, if you're not a Star Trek nerd, if you're not into like queer and trans culture, I don't know how to communicate with you. I just don't know.
The weather, maybe? I don't know.
There sure is weather outside, guys.
Ursa, what it sounds like is you need to just get into more niche nerdy things. Out
there it is.
The gate, yeah. I'm making an Antedian which is apparently the name of the Fleetwood fish.
Fleetwood
That
fish.
is it's good. I'm making an Antedian silicone mask. So I've been I just finished my 4th day of sculpting, and then tomorrow
Actually,
we have a
why don't you start from the beginning and talk about how that process works?
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that would be rad.
Yeah.
So basically, kind of this beginning is sculpting in this class, because so often you do like a life cast, which is a very fun process, but not in this class. We were doing generic head forms,
Okay.
partially because like some people sell their masks that they make in this class, because they're really nice, but also the class is not cheap. I mean, because all the materials are provided and everything, so it's a lot of fun. And I've taken a lot of classes with Ollie Gordon. You can find him on Instagram and other social media under Some Devil FX.
Nice.
And he's done, like, he did the makeup for the new Hellraiser. So like if you see the new Pinhead and stuff like that, that's probably one of his bigger ones. But his IMDb is fantastic. And also Wayne Anderson is also teaching this class with him, and who did Jurassic World sculpting and worked on the Demogorgon for Stranger Things, and also the horse. I mean, well, I don't want to spoil too much, but he worked on Sorry to Bother You, which is a great movie as well. Anyway, and so it's been a great class. So basically, you have these head forms or a life cast, and you get this clay. It doesn't dry, at least the clay we're using is monster clay, which actually the monster clay medium, which you can purchase, actually has a sculpt of Spock on the label. By the way, it's just like, oh, things you could sculpt, and you just sculpt on it, and you just have to make it. And then once you finish sculpting it, whatever creature you want to do, then we cast a mold. Some people cast in stone, like cement. Some people cast in silicone. Some people cast in resin. I think we're doing resin casts, but I'm not 100% sure. And then that's a whole process. And then you demold, and then you're painting. And with silicone, you can't actually paint directly onto silicone anything because it will not stay. So you have to use like an encapsulator, which is like use like bald cap plastic. It's a whole thing. There's a lot of materials you end up learning a lot about in this kind of stuff. And and it's a lot of fun. And so I'm working on an Antedian, also known as a Fleetwood fish. And I'm really excited. And the class is fantastic.
I coined that term. I came up with it.
I don't know. You said you said it in the group chat, Fleetwood fish, and I was like, that's fantastic. And and it was even great too, because Ollie at this point knows me, that like when we were just going around introducing ourselves, and people were like, oh, and if you know what kind of creature you want to make already, just kind of share what you want to do. And then Ollie just said, and who's Irish, because like, and what kind of Star Trek alien you doing this time? And I was like, I've only actually done one other Star Trek alien in all your classes, but yes, because I learned how to do the salt vampire or the salt sucker.
Oh my gosh, that one was
it's so fantastic. Good. Well, and he's a great instructor. I really do recommend his work. He does a lot in Europe classes as well. He's also done some classes in Florida and New York. Great stuff. But so yeah, and then like it's cool to see what other people are doing. Someone's doing like a frog creature, another person's doing a zombie. My table partner, who's fantastic and is from Scotland, and this is her first time in the US, and she came for this class.
Wow.
And she's in New York and she was just like, she's like, I know I have to get a bagel. I know I have to try a 99-cent pizza.
we will make sure that Anna does not end up eating anyone.
Yeah.
Food.
However, are you gonna like carry around a barrel? Right? Don't they have like the barrel of whatever their food is for when they come out of stasis and then they just start eating quickly?
I think I'll just run around. I don't think I'll carry a barrel. Because that's just too much to carry around. But yeah, and then my table partner is fantastic, who's from Scotland. She's making this beautiful werewolf, like an incredible sculpt. So it's really cool to also like see everybody else's things. Like someone's making like a blobfish creature. And it's just It's great stuff.
So how does the process work though? Like, what do you do? So you start by like you're building the head out of clay, right? And then
So the base head is already like a plastic form
Mhm.
with like just a generic human head and like shoulders. And then and then it's truly just sculpting onto it every part of the creature. And then I did, because those eyes are so massive and they've got these like googly eye things. I actually found at Michael's these like giant dragon eye plastic things, and I was like, perfect. And I cut them down because they had like an edging that was made them too big. Cut that down, put them in, and I've built clay around the sockets, so that'll work for my mold, and then I'll stick them.
And then you put you said you're using foam latex. Is that what you said?
No, it's all right. Like the sculpting part is entirely clay, and it's
silicone. No, I know that, but what you put over top of the mold to actually make the thing.
Oh, I think we're doing resin.
Oh hell yeah! Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so the actual mask that you will be wearing will be made out of resin? Or the
No,
mold
no.
is made of-
So the mold is made out of resin. Because
Yeah.
right now I'm sculpting a positive, then the negative will be resin, and then and then we cast silicone in that.
Okay, it'll be silicone.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Okay,
That's why you said
I
you
gotcha.
can't paint on silicone.
Directly.
Okay.
So before you put the silicone in, you spray in like bald. It's basically liquid. Maybe sometime. Oh no, wait! Now I just need to look at reference photos because it's
Right?
Oh.
We don't really reference photos as much as there's reference like a couple of frames from Lower Decks.
Yeah, from Lower Decks. That's fun. God, that would be fun.
Have to see if Terry Farrell wants to hang out with you.
Yeah, there you go.
Captain Modet. That'd be so great. But yeah, we were just so you spray in basically like bald cap plastic, or it's encapsulator plastic, or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And it's liquid rather than like in a bald cap, and spray it out like with an airbrush, and then you put the silicone in. Oh. And so you're technically painting onto that. And also that blends really seamlessly into skin when you just like the edge. So you want the edges with a prosthetic, you want the edges to be longer in bald cap plastic, and then you can put it on and then basically melt.
The NYC life. It's okay. Sometimes I get it too. From living in LA, just is what it is.
I live in a suburb, so I just hear children screaming, which my thing is like, honestly, I am so for like kids like being outside, but I'm even in favor of kids being shitheads sometimes, because I feel like that's just that's a stage you got to go through in life, and I'm not even mad about it. Sometimes
the longest alarm.
Sometimes the children in my neighborhood sound like they are being murdered. And and here's the thing, like I say that and it sounds like a joke, but they are legitimately screaming bloody murder. And then I get freaked out and I look outside and they're literally just chasing each other up and down the street. Like, it's fine. I don't know what's happening, but like, hopefully they're making memories.
But yeah, so you're able to melt those edges of the bald cap plastic with just 99% alcohol. And it just like, it looks perfectly seamless into the skin. It's so cool. There's a great example of a silicone makeup prosthetic being done on Walton Goggins as for the Ghoul in Fallout. If you ever want to watch that and just see like what that makeup process looks like, it's really.
Also, you should watch that show. It's real good.
Fallout's so good.
Yeah.
It's such a good show.
Yeah, it's real good.
I also won't, no spoilers, but I did watch the Severance season finale last night, and
I
haven't caught up yet.
I haven't watched any of season 2. I'm so behind.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of season 2 either. Sorry, Apple TV subscription had to go away when I had to cut my expenses.
But again, I'm not talking about a spoiler, but I'm talking about in the class though, like so many of us are Severance fans, and then we were like, okay, yeah, so we get to watch it. and on Thursday we were like, we'll get to watch it tomorrow, and then we were like, well, don't watch it. And then I was like, I might watch it, at midnight. And then one woman in the class goes, please just don't talk about it until, she was like, I won't get to watch it until Saturday night. I do a watch party with people. So like two of us had seen it, Rhiannon and I, and we just kind of looked at each other and we were like, the finale, and then didn't say anything else. And we were like on Monday, because we take Sunday off, we're gonna be talking about Severance. So and then but
I did hear they were greenlit for the 3rd season. So.
Oh
yeah.
And I will say, again, not spoilers, but like, you know how sometimes Severance, you're kind of like, I just have more questions.
Yes.
This finale actually gave some real answers, and it was a meaty episode. Like, you got so many good moments.
I recently finished the 2nd season of Silo, and I
love Silo.
Again, it's so good, and I'm a big fan of the book series. It's actually the first time I've ever watched a series, like having read all of the books first. Because I mean, I watched the first season of the show first, and then I speed ran the books over the course of a weekend, so I got all the books in. And the 2nd season takes you up kind of to the end of the first book, and it also is like wow, we actually get some answers here.
Yeah,
and that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Obviously not going to spoil what they are, but it's like I know things that I didn't know before. This is cool. I have answers, and I enjoy this.
I haven't read the books. To be honest, I didn't know it was a book series, but that does not shock me that it was a book series.
Highly recommended.
Okay. What is Silo about?
Oh, yeah. If you're not familiar, so Silo is about...
I'm new to having Apple Plus, so...
Watch it.
Okay, so it is a story about a society of 10,000 people that live in a silo underground, and they have no idea how they got there, why they're there. They just know that the outside is toxic. If you go outside, you die. It's a very kind of authoritarian society, disguised as not being an authoritarian society. And the chief law of this society is that you can't ask to go outside, and if you ask to go outside, you will be sent outside. They say you get sent outside to clean, and everyone who gets sent outside to clean dies on this big view screen in front of everyone watching them clean.
Oh, and the cleaning is like this camera, so when somebody gets sent outside, the entire silo sits in various parts of the silo and watches via camera as the person goes outside to see whether or not they are going to clean. That's always the big thing. Like, are they going to clean? Are they not going to clean? Because you're not forced to do anything once you are outside.
When you're outside of the silo, you are outside of the law.
Correct. And you have like free will. Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of Fallout a little bit. But I'm sure it's its own thing. Very much.
Similar vibes though, because you're talking about like
it's
a closed off society.
Well,
it's maybe post-apocalyptic. The show doesn't.
It doesn't tell you. It just is like this dystopian.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't actually
tell you. Yes, I have to be really careful about saying the things that I know from the books and not from the TV show. But it's so, the acting is incredible. Common especially. I didn't know any of his music when he was rapping.
I knew a little. I've seen him in some other stuff.
Incredible.
He's very good.
Tim Robbins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins is fantastic.
Bernard. Yeah. Just outlandishly good. Highly recommended.
The main woman, I don't know what else she has been in prior, but
Rebecca Ferguson is her name. I know she's been in things. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's great too.
I know that name.
Yeah.
I'm going to look her up because I feel like I know.
They have, and the interesting thing is, like, as you go on and you meet new characters, the like cast of actors is very good.
Yeah.
Just as it continues to go on and they add new people and you're like, is it Ian Glenn, right? That's her dad's name. Ian, the actor.
I think so.
Ian Glenn, who was from Game of Thrones. He's interesting too. Like, their family dynamic is interesting.
Yeah. Well, so like a lot of times
June.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It still looks like she's been in a lot, but Dune's probably the big one.
Yeah.
And what made me think of that is when you said Severance has been renewed. Silo also has been. Silo has been greenlit for seasons 3 and 4, which gives me an idea of what the plot arcs are going to be.
Yeah.
And they've actually followed the books pretty closely so far, which is neat because what happens in the books is great.
Okay.
My one critique of the first season versus the book material is the book material is much more overtly political, and season 2 is overtly political in the way that the books are, and that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so normally when we do these things we play Jackbox, and we were thinking maybe we would do that, but frankly the app keeps crashing on my computer. So I had the idea maybe we talk about our favorite Star Trek comfort watches, or even or even like non-Star Trek comfort watches.
I would like to just say some show. I think it would also be valuable to talk about like some shows, especially sci-fi shows that aren't Star Trek, that we also enjoy.
Love that.
Fabulous.
Well, because I can just mine. Okay. Do you want to go first?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I obviously I love like The Twilight Zone. That's a huge show for me because I just think it's brilliant, and that's part of why I love Severance so much, because it feels like it could be a Twilight Zone plot. Expanded, and it's got that good vibe. Those vibes are so well done. But I don't know if I'd call this sci-fi or if it's magical realism or anything, but a show that I recently binge watched. It's only one season, and I don't think they're doing more. It's called Interior Chinatown, or Int Chinatown, because it's like a screenplay header. It's on Hulu, and I heard a little bit of buzz about it, but not enough. And it's like people who watched it love it. I think it's one of the better shows that has come out recently. It is very meta commentary on genre. It is a huge discussion about representation in media. It talks a lot about the Asian American experience specifically, but also just like all these other things, and how we're allowed to see people in television, who we allow to be heroes, and then when we do show specifically Asian people in shows, what kind of person they're allowed to be. Like certain episode names are literally called delivery guy, IT guy, and it's very meta. It's very funny too. It's got very serious, dark moments, and there's mystery, but it's also really funny. It's fantastic. It's on Hulu.
I was just gonna ask what's it on. Yeah.
It's so good. And when you watch it, talk to me about it, because it's based on a book that I have bought. I haven't read it yet. So
interesting. I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it.
Oh, hey, Dave.
Hey. Oh, hey.
Michelle has a High Potential and Elsbeth. Have either of you heard of those shows? I don't think I've
heard of.
I know High Potential. So High Potential is someone she's got OCD, and she ends up helping people solve crimes because she is brilliant, and she notices these things. But it's also there's elements of that you did the crime scene wrong, so now I have to
Wait, isn't that just Monk?
Kind of. But it's also going into just the concept that her life isn't super great because it's you've wasted your high potential.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm always so suspicious of shows like that because my immediate instinct is oh wow, what a great opportunity to have representation, because obviously conditions like OCD, that's that people suffer who have OCD, and not just because of the condition, but because of the stigma and the way that folks are treated when they have conditions like that. But then when you see I went back and watched a couple episodes of Monk very recently with my mom, and I was wow, this is actually really problematic. It's really not great in a lot of ways. It's interesting though. I don't want to judge anything about the show having not seen or heard anything about it before just now, so I don't want to make any commentary.
I've heard really good things about it, I will say, about its representation. I haven't watched it. I've seen a couple clips, but I've heard very good things about it.
Yeah. I have not watched Elsbeth, but I have heard of it because the main actress, Carrie Preston, I think it's her name. She was in a show that I had watched, which is not sci-fi, called Claws with Niecy Nash. It was so good. It's definitely a guilty pleasure show, but she's hilarious. She's been in a bunch of stuff, and she's pretty funny. So yeah, I've not seen that yet.
Well, I've kind of already talked about the main one. My girlfriend and I just started watching back through season 1 of Severance, so we could start season 2. So I'm kind of enmeshed in that at the moment and like reliving that, because I had seen the first season like pretty close to when it came out a while ago, so it was definitely not like fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch. Do you want like old stuff that I rewatch all the time? Do you want like the news stuff? Like, what do you?
There's no rule.
Yeah, there is no rule.
Rule.
What's specifically on my mind at this moment, for what are probably obvious reasons, are comfort watches, like things that you watch, not necessarily because not necessarily just because you enjoy it or anything like that, but stuff that you watch that actually like decompresses you a bit.
Yeah. So I tend to do that, especially now in the world of streaming where you can binge stuff, right? Like you can, like, once you finish clearly a season, you're like, okay, now what do I watch, right? Like, unless they are releasing it every week, you watch it all and then you're like, what do I do? Like I literally just binge watch Running Point, which is the comedy. It's on Netflix. It's based on the Lakers, the LA Lakers. But when I got done with that, I was like, what do I do now? And I tend to do that where I will watch something new and then I will finish it. And I'm like, what do I do now? So I tend to go back to, and I usually watch it at least once a year. I watch Lost. I don't necessarily watch every single season. Sometimes I jump to start with season 3 because of Elizabeth Mitchell. Like, let's be real.
Lost was so ahead of its time.
I agree. And there's actually a documentary out that was released right at the end of 2024, and I haven't had a chance to watch it. I tried to rent it the other night, and it wouldn't let me. Like, my Apple TV wouldn't let me. And I was like, apparently my Apple TV does not want me to spend money right now. Thank you, but I'm sad because I wanted to watch this documentary. But like in the trailer preview, one of the things that they talked about was how they actually, when they originally started writing it, they had a general idea of like what they wanted to do, but they had not written it all out, as far as I know. And then the writer strike happened in the middle of it, and it like messed everything up. And so that's why I'm like, I want to go back and watch it, because I've heard a lot of people are like, it was so great, and then they bailed. And I'm like, the thing is, I came into it like after it had already started. So it was in season 3 or season 4 airing when I started watching it, and I really liked it. So I like went, and my roommate at the time had the DVDs. So I like binge watched all of season 1 and 2 to like completely catch up. And I think in a way that almost helped to be able to watch it like compressed, because back in the day when you had to wait for the next episode, I think sometimes it gives people too much time to think about stuff and be like, I don't like this anymore. And then they bail out. And it makes me sad. Like, I think that's what happened to me when I would watch DS9 when I was younger. Like, now I can watch it because as an adult, I think it's very poignant and even still relevant to the time. It just always tends to be that way. Like, anytime I watch that as well. But that's one of the ones that I always rewatch, like sci-fi wise.
Lost is very, it feels like it was a binge show.
Yeah.
Lost feels like it was written for this modern era of binging.
Yeah.
And I actually, there was a YouTuber I really like, Drew Gooden, who talked about watching it binge watching it in the pandemic, and how he was talking about he was like, it's kind of insane that this was on like network TV and how much this is, and he was saying like, he's like, yes, are there flaws? And he was like,
Oh, yeah.
you know what's, and he was like, you know what's a wild thing about network TV? They can't swear. He's like, can you imagine being on a deserted island after a plane crash and all the insane things happen in Lost and no one swears the whole time? He's just like, that's insane.
That's true. I mean, the polar bear, come on. I would have been like, what the? Yeah.
Why is there a polar bear?
Yeah.
Like, and I watched it when it first started because it was very hyped. But I was a little young for it, so I was, you know, but then I actually kind of got into it a little later because at first also people didn't know it was going to be sci-fi.
That's true.
I remember that era. People were literally like, it's going to be like Survivor, but real. That was literally what people were saying. Like if you were actually deserted on an island. And I was like,
and I don't even know is it technically classified as sci-fi? Like it's more fantasy? I don't know.
It's a little more fantasy, you're right. But there's definitely sci-fi stuff.
There's sci-fi.
And when I ended up coming in, like I just caught an episode and there were like obvious more like sci-fi fantasy elements. And I went, oh, hello. And at that point I was a high schooler. And I was a little like, oh, okay, what's this? And I did find, and that was kind of early streaming days, and I did find like to watch it back, and I was enjoying it a lot. And then I actually, one of the season 1 episodes was even Nick Sagan, one of my screenwriting professors, was like watched. It was the episode Walkabout, where you first find out about John Locke and everything.
Yes.
And that episode we actually had as a like assigned episode to read the script and then watch the episode, which there's a storyline that there's a character who isn't in the who's in the script that doesn't he's involved. It's I forget which character, but he actually helps Hurley and the other guy catch the fish. And it's kind of like a moment of like, oh, they've caught this fish for like, you know, but that just little bit got cut, and it was kind of interesting to see what gets cut and what doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's such a great episode of like how to do a good reveal and like how to end. But yeah, it's a great show and very very ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about things other than Star Trek, I would like to invoke Abbott Elementary as a current comfort watch.
That's a comfort show. Yes. Oh, what a comfort show.
Just I cannot get enough of so I have to, so for a comfort watch for a show that's a comedy, are spoilers a thing? Do we have to worry about spoilers the way that we do about like sci-fi and drama and stuff?
I would say no, because it's been on air, right? Like,
yeah,
it's.
I don't know.
I have not like watched it. I've seen episodes of it.
I will just say there is a particular romance that was budding over the course of several seasons that we now have in our lives as of season 4, and it makes my heart so deeply happy between these two absolutely beautiful human beings who I see so much of myself in.
It's the straight relationship we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Can I just say, straight up one of the best heterosexual relationships, but honestly just one of the best relationships ever written.
Yeah,
like
I think so.
It's you, first of all, the entire time you're sitting there going, when will they get together? My God, they're perfect for each other. And then
here's the thing, like I have not consumed as much media, I feel like, as a lot of people, and so maybe there are tons more examples of these, but I have never been more incensed by the length of a will they won't they in my life.
It was pretty,
because I feel like it's been literally the entire show up to 4 seasons.
No. Are we going to talk about will they, won't they? I mean, every show I watch is like that.
That's true. Real. It's very common.
Okay.
I mean,
I remember watching Bones, and I was like,
X-Files, Bones.
Tamia understands me. I appreciate you, my friend.
It's such a good relationship, and they even tease, because there's like, a season finale is when they get together, and it's like, yes. And then in the season premiere, they make like a joke of like, yeah, we kind of like hooked up, but then we decided not to date.
Oh,
The
I was
beginning
so
of
mad.
I screamed, and then they were like, "Ha, gotcha!" And I was like, "Oh, thank God!" Because I was so angry.
And okay, so for context, my girlfriend and I actually get up earlier than we have to, so we have time in the morning together. Very wholesome, very gay thing that we do. It's one of my favorite things. I will choose to have like an hour and a half or so's less sleep so I can start my day just like doing breakfast, snuggling my dog, drinking coffee, hanging out with Remy, watching shows. And it's a thing that happened, I think, like on a weekend. It happened just like the first time she stayed over before she moved in, and I don't even remember whose idea it was. We were like, we should do this. Like, it's really cool to just have a morning together. And so like we went through Bob's Burgers, we went through Great North, we went through a couple of other shows. And she had seen a couple episodes of Abbott Elementary and turned me on to it. And so it is our current morning watch.
Nice.
And so we saw the episode where the romance happens and got immediately to the next one. And when that happened, I was like, because Remy, I think, had like just gotten up off the couch to like go get in the shower, and the show was just like playing randomly. Like I was actually gonna turn it off because it was like I was just like taking a drink of coffee or whatever, and then I saw that and I was like, what? I was so mad.
Yeah. Also, it's one of those things of like, when they do in a will they won't they, sometimes the show gets ruined once they actually get together in some of these shows. But now that they're together, it's like, oh, this is the best relationship I've ever witnessed. I'm loving every second of it. I'm crying. I love them so much. But also, yeah. Also, speaking on to like it being a comfort show, I'm in grad school right now to become a teacher. Watching it makes me feel like, especially with maybe the education department going away, or maybe it's not, who knows, and certain things and certain books bans and all that stuff. When I watch Abbott Elementary, I'm like, yeah, thank you, I feel healed. And also my dad is now retired from teaching, I watch it with him and he dies laughing, and he's like, yes, that happens sometimes he'll even say something right before a character and they'll say the exact same thing. It's so good.
I need to pick it back up. Like I had started it, and then at some point it fell.
Oh, just cannot recommend this.
It's joy. Just joy.
And I'm pretty sure they film, like when they film in LA, because I know that they also film like Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, or somewhere else, wherever.
But the show's based in Philadelphia, so I would imagine.
Yeah. But I think when they film sometimes outside of one of the schools, it's not far from me, because I've seen, and I'm like, what other show would be filming here other than Abbott Elementary at like an elementary school? It's a junior high, but like, it's so funny. Yeah. Whenever I like look right now, there's not a whole lot of production going on in LA, but anytime there is, I get all excited. I'm like, yeah, production in LA. But I'm always like, okay, but what is it? Like, is it a commercial?
Yeah.
Is it a show? What is it? Now I want to know.
Yeah. And then ironically, near me upstate is where a lot of stuff is now filming, with Severance filming in Kingston all the time. And I'm just like, there's the diner, the Pips Diner in Severance, and I'm like, I know that diner, I've been there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I literally want to be like, yo, who wants to come out and do a Severance like thing? We'll eat at Pips Diner in Kingston.
Did you all see the installation they did at the before the first episode came out? One of the actors, I forget her name, the actor that plays Helly, I think, like just like lived in a glass box for a day somewhere, so everyone could watch.
Oh my god!
as like a viral promotion thing for the show.
Oh my god!
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
It's crazy. What else? I'm trying to think of like other things. I mean, look, I always go back and rewatch stuff all the time.
I've been rewatching Will and Grace as a comfort show.
There you go.
Because I wanted to see gay people happy, and I had to go back to the fucking 90s.
Oh, and that's such a bleak bleak thing to say.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh God.
It's
I
been
mean,
really good. I've been
what
impressed by
about
how good it is.
what about Star Trek comfort watches? What are we doing there? What do we feel like there?
Data's Day.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
We just watched that. So, okay. So I have a group of friends that I almost every Sunday. It's not every Sunday, but pretty much on every Sunday we go. There's a group of us and we watch Star Trek. So how this all started was two of my friends they're huge horror film people, right? So the woman is a horror film director and her husband he teaches script writing. He teaches a bunch of other stuff for films. He does a bunch of stuff too. It's amazing. But they're usually big into horror film stuff. And at one point, somebody must have said something about sci-fi, and my friend Chelsea was like, "Oh, I don't really like sci-fi." And her husband Sean was like, "Yeah, you do." And she's like, "No, I really don't. Like Star Trek, no." And he's like, "You like Alien, right?" She's like, "Yeah." "You like X-Files, right?" "Yeah." And went through this list and was like, "Honey, you like sci-fi." So he grew up watching the animated series. He loves TOS. He loved the movies. So he wanted to kind of introduce her to this world. So the way that he did it was they started with the original series movies, but in order to give some context, he would pair a couple of episodes and then they would watch the movie, right? And they went all the way through, I think, Generations.
Smart.
Yeah. They watched all the movies and then they watched Generations because that ended the Kirk timeline type, William Shatner timeline thing. Well, she loved the TOS so much, the campiness of the 60s, the filmmaking of the 60s, all of that. And she just and she loved the story and all. And so she was like, I want to watch this. But of course, being a film nerd and in the film industry, it was like, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. So they literally started a couple of years ago with TOS. They watched all of TOS. I only went a couple of times, when they watched TOS. Then they watched the animated series. Now we're on TNG. We are now in TNG season 4, and we did just watch Data's Day recently. And so, to be honest, watching with them has been a huge, huge comfort because it's the two of them, me, and then there's usually 2 to 3 other people, and myself and the others. We have all seen TNG. We've seen all of it. Sean had only watched the first couple of seasons. So we're getting into the part where it's hit or miss whether or not he's seen the episode. But being able to watch my friend Chelsea watch for the first time has been an amazing experience because she will react to things that I either yes, oh my gosh, yes, you're going to react to that, or didn't even think about reacting to because I've seen the episode so many times that it's like, oh, I didn't really pay attention to that. So when we just recently watched what's the one with Ardra? Devil's Due.
Oh,
right?
Devil's Due.
Yeah. So we watched it and I was literally watching the story portion of it, even though of course at the beginning I was like, look at this outfit. Where's the drag queen? We need somebody to dress up like Ardra, But we were at the end talking about the actual story of the episode. I was like, oh, it's actually kind of good. There were several of them like that where I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of really good,
Yeah.
And I forget.
Wow, Star Trek's kind of good.
Well,
I've gone through that stage so many times. So you watch an episode the first couple of times, you're like, yeah, this is really good. And then you watch it so many times, you're less impressed. And then you just think about all the things that are so silly about it.
Oh, so silly.
And then you horseshoe back around to oh no, Star Trek is actually good. That's really good. This is a good show.
It's a good show. So but I do like to point out all the campy stuff.
Of course,
that's one of the fun things about
Star
having
Trek
some of us that's watched it before.
Should have campiness.
Yeah,
I feel so. As someone who is a huge original series fan, it's always been campy. God damn it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, so it's been entertaining.
Yeah.
We do have a because they all know I'm a huge Dr. Crusher fan. We do have like this thing going on. They're like, "Is it a wig?" And I'm like, "I will tell you when it's not a wig. It's a wig. Just
I will tell you
it's
when
a
it's not
wig.
a wig.
It's a whole thing. It's hilarious. Like, it's a wig. Just it's a wig for a while.
Wig alert.
Wig alert.
Yeah,
I think there are definitely a large group of folks that we are friends with that understand the horseshoe we were talking about. Oh, no, it's actually good.
Yeah,
and Tamia and our friends in the Sci-Fi Sisters are definitely those folks.
I also, another great comfort episode from Deep Space Nine, which is not usually happy as much as I love the show, like Deep Space Nine is my favorite, is In the Cards. I will watch that episode literally any goddamn day. Cause just one, I'm very close with my parents, and my dad's especially is really good at like cheering other people up.
Mhm.
So the concept of like Cisco feeling down and how that impacts everyone else, and during, war and stuff, and Jake being like, "Oh, I need to step in and make him happy," is just so like I relate to it. And then it's just so cute. Just Jake and Nog being like, "All right," and then they just like improve everyone's lives, but also it's so funny. I love that we know that
soulless
even
minions of orthodoxy.
I love that we have like a health guru scam artist, like crazy person. And he's just like, and I do love like Jake and Nog kind of being like, "Conference," and then they like go to the just like, "He's crazy, right?" And then it's like, "Yeah, he had me going for a second, but he's crazy." And then they're like, "All right, back into it." And I love that bit so much.
I think the only Star Trek episode that is on the same level as Data's Day, and maybe even a little bit past Data's Day for me, is Explorers. Because it's just the most wholesome, like just Ben being so excited about a thing, like the shit, and the really cute scene where he and Jadzia are talking, and he's talking about like building Jake's room, and like he didn't understand why he couldn't take the stars with him. And I just like, I don't know, it's cool. I think about, like, it makes me think about, like, I didn't have a relationship with my dad growing up, which is one of the reasons why The Visitor is an episode of DS9 that I have to be in the right headspace to watch. But
I've only watched The Visitor once because emotionally I don't think I can watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it a fair bit, but like if I'm doing a chronological rewatch, that is one that I skip maybe 75% or so of the time, because I just got to be in the right headspace for it.
I was with my dad watching that, and he and I had to hug for like 10 minutes after, just hugging afterward, like bawling. I was like,
yeah. So like I'm really close with my mom. I love my mom to death. She's the best. She is not necessarily a sentimental person in the way that I am. So like anyone who's met me, like I gush at people and I tell them how awesome they are and how much I love them and how much I appreciate them all the time. Cause that's just like one, I don't say stuff like that when I don't mean it. But two, like I don't know. I think it's important to say those things about people when you feel that way.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Mom and I both connect on is that we're crafty people. Like we like just doing arts and crafts stuff together. And so whenever we visit, we usually end up finding some kinds of arts and crafts thing to do together. We've done like paint by numbers and those little like bead art things where you like stick the different colored beads to do the art
and then like iron it together.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's like, not a perfect parallel, but just the idea of this like cool thing that they like build and this like adventure that they go on together. I'm just like, I'm big on wholesome adventures like that.
Yeah.
This is a thing that my girlfriend and I talk about all the time, is that like we always kind of feel like we're doing some kind of adventure together, even if it's just like just find ways to like having dinner together feels like we're like doing something fun and special. And so like that's Data's Day for me, I think, is wholesome in a slightly different way, and it just like I love this character and this is a really great and comforting story, but I don't know if I see myself necessarily in that story.
Yeah.
Whereas Explorers, I see the parent kid connection there, and especially about this like cool thing that they're doing together, like going on an adventure like that. That's a way that I really connect with people, because that's like so much of my life, going to conventions, going to roller derby events, all that sort of stuff. I think of it as just like doing cool adventures and like adventure quests with my friends. And that's like a really important way that I bond with people and build relationships. So yeah, that's the other real big comfort watch for me.
That's so sweet.
I also just watched, I don't remember the episode name because I know episode names less well in Voyager, but the one where Tom gets sent to the brig for trying to save the ocean.
Wait, which one?
I'm not the voice. You don't ask me.
Wait, no, I've seen this one. Oh god.
So they come up on this this like planet-sized ocean that these folks live in, and it's a climate change allegory. So like the way that they do energy and stuff is messing with the cohesion of this ocean that they all live in, and Tom Paris has a cause and he's trying to save this ocean, and he ends up like kind of creating a bit of an interstellar incident with the folks who live there. But it's like it's a cool Tom Paris episode.
Is it called The Waters? No,
that doesn't sound right.
No,
is it 30 Days?
30 Days, yes, that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where Loki's like terrorist bombing.
Yeah, exactly. Where because it's supposed to be kind of a full circle moment for him, right? Because like he was getting in trouble before because he was kind of a shithead, and now he's getting in trouble because he's fighting for something that he cares about. and that's like, it's, I don't know. I think
it's the shithead to activist pipe.
And I think no, that's real.
That's so real.
And I think some of that, like I think some people I think don't like Tom Paris that much as a character, at least not at first.
Yeah.
And I really like him all throughout the series. And maybe it's just because I'm thinking back to the beginning of the series and knowing where his arc goes. But I see a lot of myself in Tom Paris in a couple of ways, because I'm going to be honest, I used to be kind of a shithead. I mean, you know, it's been a minute. I grew up mostly throughout my 20s. But like I was just not always a great person. Like I had the kind of friendships with people where we were like being performatively cruel to each other, like making fun of each other and insulting each other. I had a pretty racist upbringing, and I was kind of bought into that. I had to do a lot of unlearning to work my way out of that. And I didn't get in trouble. Like I didn't like go to jail, or I didn't even really get in trouble at school. I think I had detention twice.
You weren't sent to the brig.
No, never went to the brig. But just in general, I was kind of a shithead, and I had a process of like unlearning and then learning and finding the things that I care about, and ending up kind of in a full circle space like that, because sometimes I get myself in trouble in pursuit of things that I care about in ways that I believe in, like sticking my neck out to make sure that like folks are safe. I've been hitting some of the leadership in the roller derby teams that I play for pretty hard on making sure we're doing what we can to keep trans folks safe in roller derby, and keep our skaters of color safe and that sort of stuff. And I've been kind of sticking my neck out and like maybe ruffling some feathers, and not you know, that's, I don't take pride in like making trouble for trouble's sake. I actually would prefer not to do that, but like,
yeah,
I don't have a problem doing it if it's what I think is necessary. And so I just, there's a part of me that really identifies with Tom on that level. And so that episode is really wholesome to me for that reason.
Nice. Love it.
I like that.
We have like 5 minutes left. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Should we talk about I don't know if it takes 5 minutes. Should we talk about STLV?
We should.
Yeah. Star Trek 11.
Can we? How much are we revealing?
I think less is more in this case.
This time, okay, great. But soon we will reveal more, correct? Because
Yeah.
that's our thing. We did decide that, like, because in the past
Always,
we
Tamia.
haven't.
I got you.
Yes.
Always.
Yep. In the past, we've like not revealed a lot until right at the very end, but we are going to reveal more sooner.
Yes.
Just not right at this point.
Let's just say.
Okay. So we will be at STLV.
We would, first and foremost, yeah. And if anyone watching was at one of the panels that we did, there's going to be
it might be online somewhere.
It's probably online.
Somebody, like, I know a couple people recorded it.
And I also think we talked about it on a stream afterwards.
We did like a recap. So we talked about it.
If there are folks that hang out regularly, they might.
So that's somewhere in our socials on the YouTubes.
And like we have a bit of a brand in terms of being a little bit of a lot sometimes. And
what are you talking about? Not at all. Just the fact that this could be chaos.
Quote Ursa earlier.
Yes. Look, things just happen to us. It is what it is.
That's very true.
That's also true. So what we're saying is we have a really good concept that we came up with last year that we are putting into real life, I guess is the best way to describe it, in STLV.
Also, we have I would say that it's fair to say that we have a booth this year.
Yes, we will have
instead of a table,
a bigger booth. Yes. We won't be in the back this time.
Yeah,
shoved all the way in the back.
And gosh, what kind of gay nonsense could we be filling that with?
And there will be
the gay booth. The gay booth. Come on down to the gay booth. The gay booth.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, we're not going to tell the whole story. But if you're in Vegas, please come up and ask us the story about last year of our booth neighbors or our table neighbors. We had some not great table neighbors. It was like in the beginning they tried, but they really didn't.
He tried and then he didn't, and then he gave me this to say sorry.
Along with the comic book and something else.
Along with the comic book. That's close around here somewhere too. But this Chekhov stays on my desk.
I think it would be. I think what I will say about that guy is he has now proven that if you misgender someone or are transphobic, you owe them a cheap action figure and comic book.
That's correct. That's the price. That's the price of a misgendering.
And that is correct.
It does escalate with each successive offense, though, to be clear.
Absolutely.
And it does feel like that's. I mean, that would be nice if they had to give you shit each time.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna, because I don't want this to go unaddressed.
Yes.
Harmony, I agree. I'm gonna be honest with you. And say that I am feeling the same way. I have a roller derby trip to Portland next weekend, which I'm really, really excited about. And I've definitely been thinking about, like, it's going to and from the outside of the country that is the scary stuff right now. But that's, there's obviously a very, very, very thin line between that and inside. So I feel you, friend. I am right there with you. And it is not great. And it's far enough for me that if I don't fly, I'm not going, because I am not driving from Cincinnati to Las Vegas. That's just not a thing that's going to happen. I love everyone so much, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. But yes, so we are excited for Vegas. We will definitely tell you more soon. But again, we're like super excited this year, and I don't know. We have so many ideas that, like, it's gonna be chaos and crazy like always, but in such a great way, and it's all with love. And if you do go to STLV, I know our lovely friends and family like cousins, whatever. What are we calling the Sci-Fi Sisters? What are we? I forget. We
I
are
mean,
like
family
Friends of the
is
pod.
is
it's
what I go.
family for
Yeah.
sure. But they will also be there. They
Yep.
will be on the end of one of the aisles again. I believe they have the same spot. So definitely check out their table and say hi to them. And we are always here to support them. And we love our Sci-Fi Sisters. So yes. So there you go. Family. That's right.
Yep.
Family.
There
be
it is.
family.
When you're queer, you're family.
That's correct.
That's correct. That's not originally mine. I stole that from Dimension 20. Drone's Dimension 20. Being gay when you're queer, you're
And
family.
we love you all
We-
back.
Yes,
so
we
much.
do.
So much.
We do. So we were. Oh, Michelle. Thank you for that.
Aw,
We
big hearts.
yes, we're trying to be more consistent. Do it once a month.
Once a month.
If you did not catch us last month, it's actually because we did the pre-show with the Sci-Fi Sisters for the Lappy Awards, which is always hilarious and funny. And of course, we were like, we can't fill 2 hours. We filled 2 hours because that's who we are.
Oh, we filled 2 hours.
Yeah. So that's always great. And then we will definitely announce whenever we're going to do. We haven't picked a date yet for April. We have to do that, guys. We got to pick a date.
Yep. We'll get on it. All right. Until then, friends, thanks for hanging.
Thank you. Love
See you
you.
soon.
Bye.
Boo, boo.
Did we hit the button to end it?